bit of gold shop value today.
Have to get you to run across the field at half time. Have to get you to run across the field at half time so we get you on the camera.
No. I'm not just repaying.
I'll send a small file to Ratio.
That's next weekend. And going up to deliver that video. So if you want to bring it up, so I can speak over that.
Who's that? Is that an all
No, Wellington. No, this weekend. St. Paul's game isn't being covered by Sky.
Oh, it's good.
Kia ora, no mai, haere mai, tilifa lava, molo alei, kia rana, haka. Welcome to St. Peter's School, Cambridge here. It is the Central North Island first 15 game between the visitors, St. John's College Hamilton, as you can see they've lined up out there, and the hosts, St. Peter's School, Cambridge. My name is Bevan Jenkinson. Good to have alongside me yet again Andrew Verco. How are we doing, Andrew?
Afternoon, Bevan. Lovely to be with you as always, and it's a magnificent picture there as we scan around the ground, showing this massive crowd here for the CNI game between two quality schools here in the mighty Waikato.
Yes, the defending champs taking on the current leaders of the competition.
Yeah,
and also playing for the Rick T. Francis Memorial Shield, which St. John's had at the start of the season, which they took off fielding in the final last year. Lost it to Wanganui, who then lost it to St. Peter's. It's the Ranfurly Shield of Central North Island, first 15. Conditions, mate, I think there was a bit of rain, but what do you think? I think we should be alright.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I don't think there'll be any rain about. There's almost no wind as well that I can feel. And so conditions pretty good here. The field looks immaculate considering the rain we've had here in Hamilton. So a good exciting encounter to come, Bev.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some hakas, no doubt. Alright, so the hakas are done. The hosts being assisted by the school, which is great to see. Let's have a look at the lineups. Very quickly, we'll have a look at St John's Hamilton. Jaden Kuru, Lala, Ben Parnell and Alistair Kofisi's the front row. Tane Manahira, James Ticklepenny in the locks. Quinn Snowden and Harper Mills on the side of the scrum, and at the back, Jack Brosnan, Mills also captain. Angus Spellman, Jacob Stone-Pern are your halves, Lysol Tavanga and Ollie Penfold in the centres, and on the wings, Aston Rangi Tutia and Harry Virtue, and at the back, Tama Kuruhiki Feki. Let's have a look at the St. Peter's lineup for us. Andrew, whatever your name is.
Line up for St. Peter's today, the big men up front, Ethan Harrison, James Powell and Cooper Moore. In the second row, Brad Meek and Jesse West. The back rowers are Ollie Barnes, Kobe Stranks Ross and Kobe Trey Ross. Kobe Stranks Rose and Kobe Trey Ross. Halfback is Luca Morris. In the pivot position, the number 10, Luca Miller. And in the centres, we've got Alapati Tusa Swangia in the 12 and Flynn Moray at centre. Your wingers today, Cruz Mara and Remy Corona, with Josh Garrett at the back in the 15. And the reserves, Edwards, Zammit, Harvey, Edwards, Heaney, Clark, Callisinai and Taylor.
Yeah, notice too that there's a couple of changes, positional changes and not necessarily number changes, so just be careful about that front row for St. Peter's School Cambridge. Actually did us a favour. He goes, I didn't really want to have to rewrite my own team list, the whole team list, so I said no, you're just going to have to stay in the same numbers. Aaron Zinny Pennison says, let's get us underway.
We're underway here, left to right with St. John's College, Hamilton kicking off. It's claimed there in centre field by the open side, Stranks Rose for St. Peter's. And it's the first opportunity here for the number 10, Miller. And he's put boot to ball, in fact it's the 12, swung out. And he's booted it deep down inside the St. John's 22. It's a fairly decent clearance there from Korahiki Feki. Now to centre field for St. Peter's, the first opportunity inside the St. John's half. It's that second 5, Swangia, who's made some good metres up over the 10 metre line. Now all the big men will go to work. First up is Jesse West for St. Peter's in the 5. Good go forward ball there for the halfback Morrison. Another big man, crash tackle, and it'll come out to Swangia again, standing at pivot. It's a good tackle there from St. John's on the ground, and they've earned themselves a turnover.
It's Quinn Snowden, and interesting thing there, Andrew, Quinn actually slipped over and managed to get back to his feet and straight over the ball, won themselves the first penalty.
Yeah, it was a strong tackle there from the blindside flanker. He just sort of, they weren't able to get over the advantage line there, were they? And managed to get back to his feet, secure the turnover for St. John's. An awesome effort there on the sideline from Luca Morris for St. Peter's, but can't quite keep the ball in. And St. John's will have a line out.
Brilliant picture we have, Andrew. I had to walk around, can't take the referee out of somebody. And it's a pretty good surface. It's a little soft, like you said. There's been a lot of rain around this week for the last couple of weeks, but it's still a pretty good surface.
Yep, it looks picturesque, and there's a massive crowd here today. It's a great turnout for CNI Rugby just to start out this Matariki weekend. It's not a particularly clean win, but St. John's still have possession. It's their first opportunity inside the St. Peter's half. It's in the hands of Ben Parnwell. And now out into centre field through Ticklepenny. Stern, St. Peter's, Cambridge defence so far. Not making a lot of headway as they come back to the left through Manaheta. Scored, work at the breakdown.
Offside advantage going the way of St. John's.
This time it's Kafisi for St. John's. They'll come back out into centre field. Big show and go there from Stone-Pern. But again, no way through that St. Peter's defence. Still in the hands of St. John's. They'll hit it up again through Manaheta. It's good aggression at the breakdown from St. Peter's. Ooh, just passed slightly out in front there. But they'll come back for the penalty advantage.
Yeah, I think Karohiki Feki also did the old look at what's coming at me as he went to catch the ball, which, look, we see that at every level, don't we?
No, none of us are perfect, Bev. Except your commentary.
I'll take the compliment. God, I knew there was something else coming there. Hey, look, I've already taken my jersey off for you today, Andrew, so you should be
Should we talk about your attire today? I'm very pleased with what you're wearing. Ahead of the Super Final Super Rugby final coming up this weekend.
Yeah, the old Crusaders and Chiefs. Nothing like a good ripper of a final, I bet.
So the line out successfully sacked there from St. Peter's, but still in position with St. John's as they rumble up towards the 10-metre line there and it's Parnwell, but it's been turned over by St. Peter's. An excellent tackle.
Yeah, again, it's like the earlier St. John's Hamilton penalty. Kind of went a little bit on his own there, but Parnell definitely did well to break the advantage line, but just went without a little bit of support, unfortunately.
Yeah, he shot out of the line like a rocket, didn't he? And sometimes when you get through the advantage line, it can be to your disadvantage if you don't have supporting players to support you there. And St. Peter's worked hard at the breakdown for the turnover. This will be Powell's first throw to the line out. It's a good clean win for St. Peter's, and it's hoofed out into centre field. In the hands of, I think the centre there, Moray, or in fact it was the number 8, Ross for St. Peter's. And the clearance from the right boot of Swangia. It's claimed in the back here now by Rangi Tutia for St. John's. Brings it back into centre field. Just up over the halfway line in St. Peter's territory. They'll come back. They were very successful down this left edge last weekend, Bev. But the defence of St. Peter's up to the task here today. Another good carry from the number 2, I think, Parnwell. And then this time, Kufisi. Good recycling in the ball from St. John's College. This time it's Snowden taking it into contact. Strong work in the breakdown there from the number 3 for St. Peter's. That's Ethan Harrison coming through the ruck legally. There's a good little dart around the side. It's Palmer again. It's been busy early for St. John's. It's time in the hands of Spellman. Puts it on to Stone Pern. Puts a big up and under. Nicely claimed at the back there by Garrett for St. Peter's. He's met in an equally crunching tackle from Tavanga. And St. Peter's now, ball in hand, just outside their 22. No score yet in this highly anticipated CNI fixture as the ball is cleared. Back down into the hands of Korofeki, gives the big show and go, and into contact. St. John's support getting there and recycled the ball. It's Parnwell again. He's often the first man to run it up. There's a bit of space out here, this time Kufisi again. The big men working hard early for St. John's, and the penalty advantage coming.
I think it was for height.
Out to the hands of Chavanga. Steps off the right, up towards the 10-metre line. Spellman has a look left and then goes right, and then up the middle goes Spellman. Just the fullback to beat. Great covering tackle there from the St. Peter's cover defence as St. John's rumble up. It's been turned over here, little knock on, I think maybe.
Yeah, it was a little bit scrappy there, and just a whole lot of bodies. But look, Andrew, we've had 7 minutes of rugby, but we might as well have had 70 for the way this game is being played.
Yeah, it's been hotly contested so far, Bev. St. John's have certainly come to play today.
Good attacking opportunity here.
So Spellman, he was the man who made the break for St. John's. About 17 metres out from the St. Peter's goal line. Goes into centre field to Tavanga for St. John's. Just gets up over the gain line, but great work at the breakdown again from St. Peter's.
Might be in from the side this time. I know it is not releasing. And both teams earning these penalties early. St. Peter's, though, they're having to make a lot of tackles.
Yeah, they certainly are. St. John's have had a lot of position and territory in this game early. But St. Peter's defence has been up to the task, and they've earned a couple of good penalties getting over the ball at the breakdown.
Other than the kickoff, has actually St. Peter's had the ball in their half? In the St. John's half?
Once.
Other than the kickoff?
Once.
Yep.
They got just over halfway. As St. Peter's, that's another good line out for win for them. And that's in the hands of the number 1, possibly. Maybe I got that number wrong. As it comes back into the hands of Swangia. He looks for territory, down towards Koraheki Feki. It's gone backwards. It's a great little interchange there to Rangatutahi for St John's. It's there for Spellman. First man up there. And it's good quick ball for St John's as they head up over the halfway line again. This time Kuralala. In the hands of Spellman again. He goes to his pivot, Stone Pern. He takes it into contact. He's been held up here though by the 6 there for St Peter's. It's Ollie Barnes. Ball's gone backwards, says referee Patterson. There's just a little bit of unstructured play here, and St Peter's toe it ahead. Who can get to the ball first? St John's have done well to get bodies back behind the ball. And they'll have an opportunity to clear now. Spellman finds Stone Pern. In fact, he throws it out to the right-hand side. There's a few St Peter's players out there. They'll do well to retain this, and they have. And Spellman again goes around the outside. Great defence, cover tackling here from St Peter's early. But St John's have done well to hold on to the ball again. A little dart around the outside there. It's about up towards their own 10-metre line now, and it'll come back. That's gone backwards according to referee Patterson, so we'll play on. It's in the hands of, I think, might be Harper Mills there at the base of the scrum, playing halfback for St John's. Not making much ground here at the minute though. It's in the hands of Tickle Penny, I think. Then taken on by, I think it might be Mills again at the bottom of the ruck. Back out into centre field. That's a good, strong carry from Kafusi. Back up towards the 10-metre line, St John's territory. They'll come back to Stone Pern and switch to the left-hand side. In the hands of Snowden now. Out here on the left edge. The tackling is up to the task, though, from St Peter's. They're loving their defence. And Spellman decides, let's put boot to ball. Over the top. It's going to bounce into space. It's Harper Mills running through, but it bounces over his head, and it's in the hands of the 17 for St Peter's. Cooper Moore. Penalty advantage for St Peter's. But they'll run it out to the left through Swanya. Oh, great hands there from the St Peter's backline in the hands of Mara.
Keep following the ball, won't you?
Then it'll come back into Ollie Barnes this time. One of the first attacking opportunities here for St Peter's and St John's territory. Swung here. Fends off one. The player just receiving some attention in centre field. It's Harrison. Runs it up and they'll come back to the penalty.
Yeah, there was a very dangerous tackle in there, which is why that player is down at the moment. I'm trying to think who actually made the tackle, but definitely went past the horizontal and put to ground. As you and I would know, Andrew, it's fine if you put the player while in the air below the horizontal, but he must not land that way.
Yeah, certainly. Yep, there's a lot of moving parts in rugby, but never nice to see someone go up and over like that. So we'll make sure he receives the right attention.
Yeah, I think he just got a little bit too carried away with the tackle. I don't believe there was any malice in it. But
what do you make of the game so far, Bev? We've had
well, look,
13 minutes gone.
Yep, just a reminder, folks, that clock is counting down since it's a 35-minute game. Actually, remember to do it this week. It's been electric. I've seen St Peter's play St Paul's out here. If you saw the photos from that, folks, from Bev's broadcasting, that was myself that managed to travel over from Pairo. And when I looked at them, and I even said to St John's afterwards that we're going to have to worry with our backline. But I don't think that's been a problem today. I think both backlines and forward packs are pretty even at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly been pretty even. St John's have had a lot of ball, and St Peter's have defended immaculately. So it's obviously no score in the game yet. So it's even as it could be at the moment, Bev.
Pretty much. Big weekend coming up this weekend, of course, with the Crusaders taking on the Chiefs down in Otatahi, Christchurch. What do you think of the cowbells being banned for that game?
Yeah, I had a bit of a chuckle. I wasn't sure if it was I read a news article. I wasn't sure if it was tongue in cheek or actually they were being for real. But was it the CEO or someone was saying it was a health and safety issue to have a cowbell in a seat or something?
Well, depending on how I felt at the time, I have been a Waikato supporter at NPC level. Those cowbells can hurt if you get hit from them. But I think it is a bit of gamesmanship. I do like the idea of people downloading the app. I'm not 100% sure how much noise an app will make, but each to their own. Still more sport coming up this weekend. British and Irish Lions, of course, touring Australia in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that series, but they take on Argentina in the UK, 7 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday off the top of my head. Also, it's for Matariki weekend, because it is a long weekend starting from tomorrow. Got Goalball New Zealand Nationals coming up from the Chris Orr Recreation Centre, Blind and Low Vision New Zealand and Manurewa. All 3 days live streamed. We've got teams coming over from Victoria and also New South Wales as well. Victoria's been the last couple of years, but great to see the mates from the West Island, as I call them.
And you're up there, are you, all 3 days, Bev?
I'm up there all 3 days, live streaming, live on Bev's broadcasting. At this stage, there won't be any plans to commentate. I'll be back in a Sorry folks, just had to turn the mic off. The players still being attended to. I was just being asked a question, Andrew, which I didn't see a number. Unfortunately, we can't report on that stuff till after the game, unless the referee asks, and I kind of doubt that they would. It'd have to be a competition thing to do rather than just a specific game. But both teams going back to having a bit of a warm-up. Goalball, if you don't know about Goalball, it's a vision impaired sport played at over 110 sports countries in the world. It's the most popular blind sport, it's the only vision impaired sport played at the Paralympics. A team event, there are cycling in that. 3 players on a volleyball court for each team. Throwing a ball, it's a 2 kg ball that's got a bell inside it, because the players are completely blindfolded. I have played, and it's one of the most disorientating things I've ever taken place. And it looks simple, it is, but there's also a bit of technical side of it too. Thankfully last year's Nationals down in, I think it was at Palmy Girls, it was definitely in Palmerston North, and was able to commentate. It was quite fun.
And is there a net, Bev, or how do you score a point? Or?
Yeah, so the goal lines, the baseline has a net for the length of it.
Okay. And so what's the aim? You want to hit the net, or
yeah,
get it past your
you're trying
opposition?
to throw it and get it in the goal.
I see.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's that simple. Yeah, look, there is still some more concern about this player on the ground. I know they have a backup field, Andrew, but if they have to move, unfortunately, that'll be the end of the live stream. But anyway, we'll stay with it. If you got any thoughts or questions, folks, anything you want to ask, go for it.
I've got a question. I've got a question for you, Bev. Actually,
yeah, you've always got a question for me.
I'm just scanning around the crowd here. It's a massive crowd here today at St. Peter's. Obviously, a lot of students here watching their contemporaries in the first 15 play. I'm just noticing a few wigs out here on the sideline. There's a gentleman down here in a blue wig. Yep. Very similar to the hair you have.
To the right. Oh, well, he reckons. I asked him about his haircut earlier, and he said no. The hairdresser gave me a discount like they normally do, but felt that the $10 I paid for my level 4, you know, my number 4, haircut that I usually go with was a bit expensive at $10 or $15.
Jeebus, where do you get a haircut for $10, Bev?
I think it's more 15, but yeah. No, there's a lovely lady in Paeroa who always asks me, goes to me, where are you commentating next week? I only see her every 3 or 4 months, but she does remember me.
I think she deserves a shout out. For my haircuts cost upwards of $30, Bev. So I think you.
Look, do you have hair?
Oh, I've grown it long now, and I can't afford the haircuts.
Oh, there's a question for you, Andrew. I'll throw one back at you. Big thanks to people who have donated to, or who did donate to help towards my car. What did you think of the car? You got a 100-metre drive out of it last Saturday.
Oh, I did struggle to find the key to it. It's a flash car, Ben.
Oh, yeah, well,
doesn't even have a key for it.
These keys that you can lock away, mate, so it's not annoying you.
No, it was a lovely drive actually. It's a beautiful colour, nice bright Chiefs colours.
Well, technically it's only red, so technically you could say Queensland colours. Hey, look, they won last night. No one expected that. But red is also that goes with black for the other team.
Yes, well, maybe we'll go with Queensland then rather than the Crusaders. I don't think you.
Oh well, actually the maroon. Well, it's not a maroon, but
you need enough help in your life already, Ben, supporting the Blues. I'd be very disappointed.
Oh,
if you
mate, look, that was a spectacular game on Friday night. Kolivea, look, unfortunately, it's players' safety, and if he's barely moving, we don't like to zoom in on the player. It is got to be safety first, and that's why we have this break. Wheelchair rugby next Saturday and Sunday from Te Whanganui Atara, Wellington, the Te Ruaparaha Arena action coming up, WRC 2. No plans as yet to take on 6-year-olds in a running race.
We know how that worked for you last time, Bev.
Yeah, love it. I can't even. Evie is her name. Yeah.
Not only defeated, but also injured yourself
flat on
in the
my
process.
ass. Oh, that's the other thing too. If you haven't seen the greatest sporting injury of all time, and Andrew, I was a little bit annoyed you asked if it was me. Do you remember what game it was? It was definitely AFL at the G.
I don't recall the exact game, Bev,
I don't think it matters anyway, but a middle-aged man, probably in his 60s, coming forward to... Oh, did you only click now what I'm talking about?
Oh, a middle-aged man in his 60s, this is a bit harsh. Poor man blooming ripped his hamstring or whatever.
Well, stop ruining my story.
And you're already having to go on.
Came forward to flick the old coin toss, and as I said to you last night, Andrew, it's been confirmed he tore his hamstring while doing a coin toss.
Yeah, it certainly struck me as something that you'd do, Bev, so I wondered if he was a cousin or a distant relative. Or
I tore my 2 calf muscles last year, and one was refereeing under 11s when I changed, stepped off the other foot and felt it go, the old sniper. And the other time I was trying to get fit. If you got anything around, folks, how they sort out draw for Chiefs knockout? How they sort out Chiefs for knockout draw for Waikato? Honestly, from what I've heard, because of course Chiefs being top qualifier, even though they lost to the Blues, got that extra life, basically due to the biggest thing in this world called money. From what I've heard, I'm not having a go at Sky Sports here, but their contract said a 3-week final series, and this was the only way they could do it with all 3. Sorry, yes, 3 weeks for 6 teams playing each of those weeks. Of course, we could go to quarterfinals where there's 8, but Andrew, 11 teams. Do you really? I mean, people were complaining about last year before the Melbourne Rebels left about it being 8 teams for a 12-team competition. Losing another team, I don't agree with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very, very unique system, isn't it? I've never seen that in any competitions around the world. I mean, typically if it's a 6-team final situation, normally your top 2 qualifiers get a bye in the first round, and the bottom 4 have a game each, and then those top qualifiers get a bye into the second round. So that, to me, makes a bit more sense to do it that way.
Yep.
But
I just realised, actually, I read the question wrong. He was asking about the Chiefs' top 4 playoff. Yeah, how that works. Unfortunately, I don't actually know
why they don't get a home final? Is that what you mean?
No. Like, how does it work for the team that qualifies for the Chiefs region? I know last year St. Paul's played Hamilton boys, and because Hamilton, and then beat Rotorua after that to make the top 4, which of course they won as well. Guys, look, not happy about these comments. Everyone's allowed their opinion, but it's player safety first. And look, it was a very dangerous tackle. As I said, I didn't think there was malice in it, but he's actually being led up into the ute now, which actually brings me to another thought. Andrew, no, you can keep talking because I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Yeah, obviously, player safety is of utmost importance, and taking all the precautions here, which is good to see. And the players up on back of the truck now, and he'll be taken away and given some more attention.
Just had, I'll tell you about that because I'm looking at something else. Just had phone a friend come in, Andrew, wondering if that was you commentating with me today.
It is me again, rightly or wrongly, as the injured player gets a good standing ovation here from the crowd as he goes off the field, gets some further attention.
It was from Carter Van Hillemon, my nephew that you know.
Oh, yes, yep. Yes, I've refereed him a game of rugby once. He was the captain, I believe.
Supposedly.
Very good young fella. It's incredible that he's related to you, really, Bev, isn't it? I don't know how you know. It's obviously the...
did I tell you
not
what
all apples fall from the same tree, or however the saying goes.
Yeah. Did I tell you my new nickname, Andrew? Due to the area that I grew up in, at a Pairo, somebody came up with the nickname of Cletus. It actually took me to driving home because I was like, I know Cletus is a hillbilly name, and I couldn't connect it with anything, and then went Simpsons. It's a hillbilly and Simpsons. So we're back underway, and time back on, Andrew, with that penalty.
We welcome any Cletuses watching on the live stream today. Thanks for joining us.
The person, I forgot their name, and I do apologise, James Carmana, whose son is Izzy, is tuning in and watching today. Izzy's not playing, unfortunately, due to a head knock, which is where I was going with safety first.
St. Peter's now, they've taken the penalty and they've kicked it out 8 metres out from the St. John's goal line. It's thrown in there by James Powell for St. Peter's. Now out into centre field as St. Peter's go to work in the hands of Luca Morrison. It's real quick ruck ball is in the hands of the number 8 now, Roth. St. John's defence is holding strong at the moment, this time with Meek for St. Peter's. Back towards the right now, and it's in the hands of Swangia, and shuffles it on to Moray. Good step off his left, and then met some strong defence. Morrison finds Swangia again. Oh, good ball there, creating space for the fullback Garrett, but it's been intercepted by St John's. As they've been held up in a maul here. We'll see if he's able to get to ground. I think that's the
number 11, Essen.
Rangi Tutahi, and Spellman clears it into touch. Rangi Tutia, my apologies.
We'll forgive you just the once for this moment, Andrew.
That's very kind of you, very forgiving people. There's Powell to throw in again for St Peter's. And the line-out's been really effective here today for St Peter's. It's won by West in the line-out into the hands of Swangia. Centre field, about 35 metres out from the St John's goal line. Back in the hands of Luca Miller, and he's going to put the backs to work here. Garrett finds the outside man, comes back into infield, good tackle, the ball back on the inside for the halfback, Luca Morrison.
Well, after a bit of a question of the person doing the sounds today, Andrew, because I was like, Saints? Okay, yeah, clearly it's for St Peter's, but both teams are Saints. We'll have a look at the replay here. And look, St Peter's have probably come out just a little, probably half a notch quicker at the moment than what St John's has out of that delay. It was just ball beat man. And St John's are getting back to their numbers and just a great offload, as you said. And look, Luca Morrison didn't have to worry about it too much other than planting the old ball. As the conversion is away to the right.
Back to the restart now from St John's Hamilton as St Peter's draw the first points here today in Cambridge. Through that try to Luca Morrison, but St John's have gained possession from the kickoff. Can they hit back? It's in the hands of Stone Pern, goes into the contact. Defence has been very good, and that's been lost forward there by Harper Mills, I think, for St John's. And they've come back for a scrum. St Peter's ball. Yeah,
I think the St John's Hamilton captain just kind of did the old crocodile snap at the ball there.
Yeah, there was a play that rushed out of the line though from St Peter's. Might have just put a bit of extra pressure on there.
Yeah, if he'd got it and was able to carry on, why not?
But you can certainly see why St Peter's are top of the table. Yeah, you know, good teams are built on solid defence, and they've been well up to the task here today. As Morrison, the try scorer, goes to the left-hand side to Swangia. Back in the hands of the big number 8 for St John's. Brosnan, he runs it strong into contact. Another good strong carry, this time from Manaheta. St John's are certainly leaving it all out there. Some good attacking rugby. I think that is Parnwell this time. Ball in hand to contact. That's a good little go-behind pass from Koilala, but well, Koilala's had to go back and clean up. Quite connect there. It's in the hands of Spellman. He finds Snowden. A bit of space on the outside. Ooh, for the centre, Ollie Penfold. And there's a penalty advantage here.
Yeah, I think he's let go of the ball carrier.
Back for Ticklepenny now, into contact. Recycled away, this time it's there for Spellman, on to Stone Pern, he's gonna let the backs do their thing. Korahiki Fiki throws the big pass onto the outside. It's Harry Virtue, I think, out there on the right wing. And the advantage has been played, says referee Patterson. And in fact, it's back in the hands of St. John's. I think they've turned it over, yes they have. Just on the 22 metre line now, St. Peter's College. Oh, crunching tackle there from the number 6 for St. Peter's, Ollie Barnes. He was on Harper Mills. Strong in the contact though. Stone Pern, he has a go. This time to Korahiki Fiki. Big pass out to the left wing. Oh, good strength shown there by Rangi Tutia. And a try in the left-hand corner for St. John's.
Well, I'm not sure, Andrew, where that try came from, but boy, you know, what do you reckon we had? We had about a 10-minute break, maybe, if that, you know, around 10 minutes. But both teams have come out, and now that both teams have scored. So have a look at this replay here. Spellman just held the pass a little bit, and then Stone Pern went into the tackle, and it was just some nice ball movement out here. Not too sure why Rangi Tutia's got a headband on. It was just a nice sunny ball pass out, and a great try scored by Korahiki Fiki, as we see Ollie Penfold lining up the conversion.
Yeah, massive work there from Aston Rangi Tutia. Good strength, you know, he didn't have a lot of room to work on that left edge, and great strength. It's a great conversion there, well kicked there from
Ollie Penfold.
The centre for St. John's.
Why does that surprise you, Andrew? The game he had last week, and he's actually been performing pretty well all season at the moment, the number 13 for St. John's. Must also acknowledge Michael, who's doing our camera work today. He's doing a pretty bloody good job, Andrew. It's originally going to be me having to do it all by myself, but I managed to squeeze you out for a couple of hours.
Roped in some helpers, mate.
I just love that Damien Mills, the St. John's manager, goes, how on earth do you do it all by yourself? He goes, I've done it 6 times already this season.
There's kickoff underway from St. Peter's, and they're going to find space over there on the left-hand side of the field. Find touch.
Just seen a question from FX. Do you know Blake Hennessy? No, I don't, sorry. Not by name anyway. So it'll be a throw into the line out. Looks like it might be Kafusi. I know Kafusi's just having a word there. No, it'll be Parnwell that'll be throwing.
Kafusi was just going over to have a word to Parnwell. He's got a play maybe they're going to run here. And it is. It's one of the short ones. It's gone 5.
It's where I thought it was going to go.
So
straight to the front.
Set move there from St. John's, and they've retained the ball well, and now they're going to spread it wide. We saw a bit of this last Saturday, didn't we? To the left edge. It's Rangi Tia. He's met with some strong defence this time. Done well to retain that there. Spellman's dug it out, and it's been stripped away, but still in the hands of St. John's College. They get men over the ball as well. Spellman will feed it back to Korahiki Fiki. He puts a big punt into centre field. Claimed by St. Peter's, although has it been turned over here? It has been turned over. I think that's Harper Mills with his fingers on the pill. That man is certainly offside, but will play on as the ball is recycled. This time number 1 there, Kuralala playing halfback. Spins it out to the wide. Oh, good rip away there from the left winger there, Cruz Mara for St. Peter's. And it's back in the hands of St. Peter's Cambridge. Currently trailing by 5 points to 7. Don't really say it like that, do you? 7 points to 5. St. John's lead St. Peter's.
Get it worded right, Andrew.
Very wordy. And they're back on attacking opportunity. Oh, good ball there from the first 5. Luca Miller puts his man Ollie Barnes in space up towards the 22 metre line now. St. John's territory. That's a strong carry from Flynn Moray for St. Peter's, the centre. Now they'll work away here through the big men. Oh, great run there, getting through the The advantage line there was Brad Meek for St. Peter's. Back into the hands of Swangiara in centre field. Here's the try scorer for St. Peter's, Luca Morrison. He feeds it back towards the right this time. Oh, these are strong carries from St. Peter's through their big man. It's in the hands of Moray. He switches to the left, back to Miller. Back to Swangiara, I think, there. Into contact. About 15 metres out from the St. John's line now. Slight confusion there as Luca Miller gets caught up with his open side strengths rows. And they'll reset and go again, this time through Jesse West. This is good. Retention of ball though. Great phase play here from St. Peter's. There's the next man up mentality there, Ollie Barnes. Oh, it's a strong tackle though from Snowden for St. John's. The 21 on the outside for St. Peter's. That's Jack Calcinai. And the turnover penalty for St. John's. Getting men over the ball.
Yeah, there was two men from St. John's doing that work that time. I think Snowden again with that turnover, but did it pretty well.
So, St. John's College now with their penalty clearance. It's outside their 22. It's one good line-out ball there from Ticklepenny. Centre of the line-out. Now it's carried into centre field. And it'll come back to Korahiki Feki for the clearance. He goes through the middle. It's in the hands of our man, James Calcinai. He spins it left to Moray for St. Peter's. Oh, he's been strong today, the centre, Flynn Moray. Carries the ball well. Now to the hands of Meek. He shuffles it on. And this is good. Go forward ball here for St. Peter's. They'll come out to the other lock this time. West using their big men to carry the ball as Luca Miller spots a little hole, but he's tackled well by Spellman for St. John's. Swangiara looks out to his left. Decides to hold on to it, does Cruz Mara for St. Peter's. As the siren goes off.
I think it's for the school.
School's over. As St. Peter's, ball retention is good, their phase plays been very strong. Luca Miller now, what's he doing? He's dancing around, but he's rushed upon by the St. John's defence. He can't force the turnover though. It's Luca Morrison, it's there for him. This time he goes to Ross, the number 8. Lost a little bit of ground here now though, St. Peter's. They're back inside their half. And Swangiara says, let's get it out of here. Boots it down towards Rangi Tutia. Can't quite find the connection with Korahiki Feki. And the change of direction there. And the big clearance. It's not actually going to find touch, apologies. Swangiara's back there. And he brings him into centre field with Moray. Another good, strong run from the centre, but there's a St. John's player's got over the ball there. It's a good turnover. It's a good turnover there from St. John's, and Spellman
Nobody home.
puts the boot to ball. Rolling down inside the 22 of St. Peter's. Luca Miller goes back, and he's going to clear it into touch. It's a good...
But I reckon St. John's have won about 25 metres there.
Yeah, it's a good capital gain there for St. John's from that turnover.
If you have just tuned in, folks, yes, the scoreboard is correct. 7-5 St. John's College Hamilton leading with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Unfortunately, a serious injury to one of the St. Peter's player held us up for about 10 minutes, hence why this game's not quite as advanced as you would have thought. I actually remember doing the 2019 Waikato draft, or Waikato Brewery's Shield final in 2019, and there was about 3 10-minute injury breaks.
Yeah, our thoughts are certainly with the player that's gone off the field, as St John's have won the line out, but have not got enough players over the ball there. And the St Peter's big men have earned themselves a turnover. I think it was the number 4, possibly.
Harper Mills just questioning with Aaron Zinny Patterson. If you saw him, you'd know why his nickname's Zinny. From Bailey's, so I did find out in the end, Andrew. Bailey's Real Estate, so big thanks to him for taking time off work today. Just, as real estate agent, it's never that easy. But look, folks, we need more referees. Please get in touch with either your local club or your provincial union. Or at the start, there's a graphic with me refereeing with contacts on there for you.
In fact, it was Jesse West who got that turnover. I was just watching him walk back, so I don't want to discredit the man. And that's a good line-out win there, this time for number 4, Brad Meek. And St Peter's have come away with the ball on the left-hand side touch. Just outside the 10-metre line, St John's half. It's in the hands of Luca Miller. He centres it in with Kobe Trey Ross, but it's stripped away by St John's. And now it's in the hands of Kafusi for St John's. So they drive it up over the halfway line. Ball's there available for St John's. Stone Pern, he goes back and behind to Korahiki Feki. They're going to play the territory game. Boot it downfield, but I think it's Moray that's jumped back. It's a great kick. Good boot on him. The big centre. And it sends Korahiki Feki back to do the clean-up work. And he's going to use the safety of the touchline.
Look, guys, this is secondary school sport. Please keep your comments positive. We're all entitled to our opinion. But these aren't professional players. They're still learning the game. I just would rather see the Sport Waikato came out this year with the positive vibes only, which has been spread quite far and wide for sideline behaviour on that. But it also applies to the comments. I don't want to have to turn comments off from someone. Sorry.
Good line-out win there for St Peter's, and that's a good carry there from the number 8, Ross. And they're coming down towards the right here. Oh, straight through goes the number 11, Cruz Mara for St Peter's. Oh, he's strong in the tackle, the left winger. Up over the 22 now for St Peter's. It's in the hands of West. Good strength in the contest there from St John's, trying to hold him up. His strengths rose, slips into the tackle there. But it's with the hands of Luca Morrison. He finds Swangia, strong in the tackle. Only 5 metres out from the St John's goal line now. Can St Peter's hit back and steal the lead? They go to this left edge. There's space out there if they can find the man. And they're too strong there over on the left side.
It's the player with the ball, I think, that scored. Just waiting to... No, unfortunately, Andrew, if you do that, you can't see round on the TV screen.
Just trying to grab the number of the player there. So
I could see what you were doing, but it was hopeless what you were trying to do.
It wasn't quite logical. I don't want to credit the wrong player here with the try. He's doing as well to keep us back to me. It's the right winger, the number 14, Remy Corona, I believe, was the try scorer.
You see here on the replay, it was a well-weighted pass and broke the line. St John's slipped off a few tackles of late, which might be said at the half-time break. And then just ball beats man here, pretty simple rugby, well held on to, right-hand winger, number 14.
Remy Corona touches down for St Peter's, and they wrestle the lead back off St John's.
Well, what would you be saying if you were if you were Tony Sewer with St John's, Andrew?
Well, I mean, they're certainly in the contest here, aren't they? And I suppose as the conversion attempt comes in, but it's away to the right from Swangia. So it'll remain 10 points to 7. St Peter's, Cambridge over St John's College, Hamilton.
I think for Cal Perry on the St Peter's side of things, keep doing what you're doing, get players into that ruck on defence. We've run quite a few penalties this half that way, and keep it basic. Yeah, they're not actually doing too bad. They're not playing badly, St Peter's. I think St John's have lifted their level.
Yeah, I think St. Peter's have just want more possession in the second half. Oh, there's a bit of penalty here.
So a few comments from the sideline about no one touched him. Unfortunately, even Jack Brosnan knows himself. He goes, well, I didn't tackle him. I go, yeah, but you've still taken that player out in the air.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because he was just in the landing space there of the of number 4, Brad Mead for St. Peter's, and unfortunately, you can't take legs out like that.
Intended to or not.
Yeah, whether it's intentional or not. Got to give that safety is paramount, and that player lands in space safely. And St. Peter's, another good line-out win from there. Well, line-out's been really successful today. Swung here, takes it into contact. Just over the halfway line, St. John's territory. St. Peter's on the attack again. It's through Miller. They go down to the left again. That's Moray. It's been very strong in the carry areas today for St. Peter's. It's in the hands of the open side flanker, Stranks Rose for St. Peter's. Now back with Miller. Swung here. Little ball, short ball there from Meek. It's well defended though from St. John's. There's a few hands on the ground there, I think. And Zinni is all over that.
Yeah, Alistair Keefe has basically just flopped on it, right? I mean, we're not wired up to Zinni, but I can imagine he was saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't. One of those great penalties. You can see what the player's going to do a mile off, and you hope that they don't.
You probably don't want to do that right where referee Patterson is standing either.
And you're talking about an NPC TMO. You know, Zinni's a very experienced person. I think he was around probably 30 years before you and I started, Andrew.
Yeah, well, certainly he's done international TMO. He's done test matches this year, along with some Super Rugby, I think, as well. Well, certainly in years gone past, he's done a lot of Super Rugby. As St. Peter's now, they get their maul going. About 8 metres out from the St. John's goal line, and it's still rumbling forward now as it slowly comes to an end, and St. John's are going to try and kill this if they can. Oh no, it's come out on the St. Peter's side. Swung here. There's the first man up. And St. John's scrambled. They wouldn't want to let another try in just before half time. And that's in the hands of, might be Stranks Rose there, was it? Now on to the hands of West, I think.
Right, that's good.
Back to Stranks Rose. He goes straight through and dots it down next to the post.
Yeah, it was a bit of not committing to the tackles there on the line. St. John's Hamilton and Kobe Stranks Rose, apologies, scored one right on half time, 15-7. As you just see, they're building well. Harper Mills, unfortunately, just got off his feet there, almost turned it over. But the momentum, just a nice little ball here, and just ran through a couple of tacklers.
A couple of would-be tacklers. But no, certainly they were strong on attack there, weren't they, St. Peter's? Just the pressure creates opportunities. As swung here.
Extra two's added, Andrew, and after we've had about 45 minutes rather than the usual 35 because of the injury break, it's half time. St. Peter's Cambridge 17 currently leading St. John's College Hamilton 7.
All right, back live here. St. Peter's Cambridge taking on St. John's College Hamilton. 17 points to 7. St. Peter's are leading. The second half's about to get underway. Through the boot of Dalapati Tusa Swangia. And it's down into just outside the 22 for St. John's. Well claimed under some duress there of St. Peter's defence. And it's back to Koraheki Feki to clear. It's down as far as, a sliding tackle there. Oh, good footwork showing. Into contactors. Swangia. Now Morrison, he goes to the right. Gore, good cutout ball from Murray. Finds, I think it's the hooker out there on the right edge. James Powell for St. Peter's. Being held up though, and into touch. No, we're playing away by the looks of it. We're not into touch, we're still playing on. St. Peter's with ball in hand. 15 metres out from St. John's goal line. They're starting the second half. How they finished the first half is Luca Miller runs into contact. Around the outside, there's the try scorer from the first half. Strengths Rose. Still at the base there. Luca Morrison looks to his left and then he goes right to the second 5. The sliding footwork of Swangia. Now back to the left this time. I think that was Ross, I think maybe. And now Strengths Rose. Making good progress here again. St. Peter's hot on attack. This time Meek, the big lock forward. Only 5 metres out from the St. John's goal line now. As the forwards go to work for St. Peter's. Oh, good pass there. Good quick ball to West. As they continue to work down this left-hand side, but St. John's have got over the ball. Might have been the reserve player, I think. Ahapini. Might have got over that one. The 19.
Yeah, I think it was actually. I was trying to figure out what the number actually said, but 19 would make sense. But look, as you said, St. Peter's have come out attacking and playing simple rugby, but gaining that advantage line 9 times out of 10. I mean, okay, no, we haven't had 10 phases, but sentiment's still there. Don't think this kick's actually made the 22 though.
No, it sort of slid off the outside of the right boot, but still. St. John's, good line out win for them as they attempt to run it outside of their own red zone. And a good work at the breakdown. I think that might have been Strengths Rose for St. Peter's, getting over the ball, earning a turnover. So St. Peter's hot on attack again. That's in the hands of Ross for St. Peter's. Oh, good quick recycled ball. Morrison can't decide which way to go. He goes around in a circle, then decides to go forward himself. Close to the line now. And it's a try.
Bit of deliberation there, but try scored, and St. Peter's, this game could just get away from St. John's.
Yeah, didn't quite catch the number there, Bev, did you? The try scorer?
No, Michael, did you catch
Might be able to see if we can get it on the replay, but it's one of the big men up front, I think. Just too much possession and territory for St. Peter's. They've sort of really turned on the works 10 minutes before half time, and now they've come out really strong into the second half.
And I don't like to big note myself, Andrew, unlike what you consider. As we have a look at this replay, I come back to that thought. Now, it was started off by the number 10, Morris, who tapped the ball and went, and then actually, you know what? I think that might be the number 10 again. I think that is the St. Peter's number 10, I believe.
Not so sure, Bev.
Okay.
I think it's the lock.
It's a kid with blonde curly hair. It could be anyone, to be honest. There's a few blonde curly hairs. Just an update, if you have just tuned in, we lost 10 minutes of the game due to a serious injury to one of the St. Peter's players. Don't know who he is, but he is still laid out on a stretcher at the moment.
Due to my keen eye, Bev, I reckon the try scorer was number 5, Jesse West. That's who I'm locking in. Jesse West, yep. And if I'm wrong, it won't be the first time or the
I reckon
last.
it's the man that's got the ball there.
As your pick, Luca Miller, clears the ball away downfield. Maybe someone in the comments can confirm for us. Maybe a family member. In the hands of St. John's College now. 24 points to 7. St. Peter's are leading. So St. John's are going to need some points soon. Oh, it's a good run up the middle there by Spellman. Does he have support? He does. Oh, but he's lost it. It's the number 8. Couldn't quite hold on to it there, Brosnan for St. John's. And now St. Peter's away. Counter attack. Someone's down in back play. It's the halfback for St. Peter's. It's Luca Morrison. But St. Peter's still with the ball now. Running forward this time, one of the try scorers, Remy Corona for St. Peter's. He's gone back to Swangia, and he decides territory's a good option, and it's a great kick downfield with little space to work on the left-hand touchline.
I'm waiting to see where this flag's gone up. It is just outside the 22. I was going to say, it was touch and go to which side of the 22 is. Luca Morrison is down in back play. There was an off-the-ball tackle. I'm a little bit worried here, looking at it from a St. John's side. They've gotten a little bit scrappy now, and they've lost the composure that they had so well for about 30 minutes of that first half. So some time off. Looks as though Miller's up off his feet.
Morrison, but away goes. The lineouts have been good from both sides today.
Yeah, sorry, Luca Morrison was one of the two Lucas.
And Palmwell throw has been excellent. And St. John's now, it's another good strong carry. It's still deep inside their half though, and they're going to run it out down the left-hand side. I think that might have been Tavaga, the second 5, as it comes into open space now and had to go back towards their 22. It's in the hands of Quinn Snowden. He's been strong today for St. John's. They not making much ground here, St. John's. Great defence again from St. Peter's, so they go right out to the left-hand wing. That's getting them outside the 22 now. Some go-forward ball in the hands of Stone Pern. He shuffles it on to Harper Mills, I think, with the ball now. Good little pick and go there from St. John's player. I couldn't quite catch the number. Back for Stone Pern now. Now there's a bit of space out here on the right edge. The big throw over the top. That's to the right winger, Harry Virtue. And he kicks it into centre field. It's in the hands of Flynn Murray, and he boots it back.
I think he was looking for a 50-22 but missed.
And Korihiki Feki might have the same idea here, as he can't quite get the angle but puts it down inside the 22. There's Murray, it's a pretty good clearance from Flynn Murray.
Yeah, one of the girls down there's just absolutely copped it in her back. Sitting on those white chairs. Actually, it was quite funny when I was walking around having a look at the field. St. Peter's were, as we say, some substitutions, kicking the ball around. These girls panicked that the ball was coming to them, and it actually landed about 10 metres away. It was quite comfortable. It was closer to hitting me than them. But hey, you know, have a bit of a chuckle. Looks as though it is number 7 coming back onto the field, Strange Rose.
Yeah, he's wearing the pink headgear, so we should have noticed that
we were looking for a reserve player, weren't we?
But,
as soon as I saw who it was like, go figure.
As the ball is won at the back by Harper Mills for St. John's. It's in the hands of Spellman, and he runs back towards the right-hand touchline. In the hands of Parnwell now. Inside St. Peter's territory. Back for Harper Mills. Up towards the 10-metre line now. As they look to use a bit of lateral energy here on the left edge. It's chipped through by Penfold, and it's well covered there by Flynn Murray. He's had an excellent game for St. Peter's, been very strong. He's got a good boot on him. And Luca Morrison goes back to Swangia. And Harry Virtue's going to claim that on the full. What's he going to do? Shows and goes, and then return serve with his right boot. And as I was giving him the big praises, Flynn Moreau has not quite grasped that one to his best ability.
You're not doing the curse, are you, Andrew?
Put a curse on the poor young lad, I have. Singing his praises.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a good 2-3 minute phase there for a kicking battle. Ball really went, other than backwards and forwards, it didn't really leave anybody's, there was no momentum gained up until that knock on. So, first real attacking opportunity for Johns here in the second half.
Yeah, they probably want to come away with some points here. That clock's off, Bev.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, they'd want to probably come away with some points here. They're down 24-7. St. John's. They wouldn't want to let it get too further away from that score against a quality opposition like St. Peter's. I can't even remember.
What were you saying, Andrew?
I can't even remember one, to be honest. Is this the first one?
Might have. I don't know.
We must have had one. We must have. But
Michael, what do you reckon? Do you reckon we've had a scrum in this game beforehand?
Certainly one of the first 5, I reckon.
Yeah, I wouldn't go more than 5.
I reckon it might be the first one.
Yeah, that's what we're just like.
I'm thinking none.
I don't agree with him.
He said one, didn't he?
No, he wasn't confident either. Originally he said none, Andrew.
But there must have been one. I reckon this might be second. That's what I'm locking in.
Might have to ask us any afterwards.
As scrum resets, and Spellman's going to have a dart round the right hand side, but he's met with some cover defence from Ollie Barnes. And who's going to come away with it here? St. John's have got bodies over the ball. It's in the hands of Kafusi for St. John's. Ball's in there somewhere. It's coming in there. It's at the back now for Parnell. He shuffles it on to, I think it might have been Snowden. That took that one into contact. And another big man rumbling. He's wrapped up though by Ethan Harrison for St. Peter's. St. John's now getting closer to the line, maybe 3 metres out from the goal line now. As Spellman goes to Kafusi, strong in the contact. Can he get the ball down? What's the referee Patterson going to say? I don't think he's going to see much in there. The ball is, I think it's a penalty against St. John's.
That's what it appears to be. No, it's a try, Andrew.
Well,
now the crowd realises as well.
Well, I'll be.
24-12 kick to come, and I tell you what, I hate cliches, but really needed that. St. John's.
Yeah, well, it was certainly a great carry. I assume the try scorer is Alistair Kafusi there for St. John's.
We'll see if I've actually... No, I haven't, sorry.
It was a strong carry.
That's the carry on.
He certainly got up and over the line, and then Aaron Patterson had a sort of a signal he was doing with his fingers there that I thought might have been a penalty, but...
Well, that's why I laughed, because I thought it was a penalty as well, and was waiting for the signal of what it was.
At least I'm not the only one. So try scorer, St. John's College, I think was the prop, and now...
Well, definitely Kurfisi who took it into contact.
Penfold with the conversion attempt.
Trying to swing it around and can't.
So keep St. John's College within striking distance.
Well, Cheese Dog's just commented and reckons there was a scrum about 8 minutes into the game.
Okay, thank you. So maybe I'm right with 2 then.
Did you hear that, sir? Someone just commented saying there was a scrum about 8 minutes into the game.
I'm watching.
And St. Peter's Cambridge with the restart. It's in the hands of the reserve player for St. John's. It's Aha Penny. And St. John's now coming up the middle. They've left the ball behind. And there's a knock-on advantage, so we might get our third scrum. But St. Peter's, it's a big tackle there from Snowden. And Zinni's gone down as well.
Come back for a knock-on, but yes, there were bodies falling over the place. And unfortunately, Zinni fell over one of those as well. Yeah, just got a phone a friend message coming, Andrew. Or Virko, sorry, is that person's pointers.
Yes, there's too many Andrews in the world, isn't there? But yeah, there were certainly bodies all over the floor there, wasn't there, including
Might have to send it to
referee
him.
Patterson. So we will have our third scrum, indeed. This time it'll be St. Peter's to feed.
I don't know about you, Andrew, but I've done it. I did it refereeing my older nephew, Sam and Will Van Hellemond, who went to St. John's to the end of last year, and then I was umpiring them in cricket and fell over as well while umpiring, trying to get out of the way of the ball, and there were spectators on the sideline that reminded me and my sister that yes, I had done that earlier.
Doesn't surprise me at all. And a penalty against the feed here for St. John's College, Hamilton.
The old boring in, Andrew, I think. The loose head. Which is that, sorry, Andrew? It's our number 3, Ethan Harrison, I believe.
So Penfold now. He'll have a clearance or a penalty kick to touch here.
Just having a look at St. Peter's, they've only made that one number change of the number 19 of no, sorry. What have I done with my team list? Edwards Heaney, sorry, who's on the field in number 19, but also Stranks Rose went off the field for a bit and has returned as well. Is the player in the pink headgear, can't miss that.
Like, I think the number 16's on for St. Peter's as well. Chicane Zammit. So ball in hand for St. John's now. It's out here on the right wing for the number 20. Justin Nonu on the field for St. John's. As they come up over the halfway line. This time it's Manaheda. He's been strong for St. John's today with his carries. Korahiki Feki. He's got a little league style slice over the outside off the boot, but falls safely or falls into open space and bounces calmly into the touch on the left hand side of the field.
I can't believe one of these stats that came out. I've seen someone on the live streams commented up the wires. It's the most double-barreled names in a 17-man team in history, apparently. I think it's 5 or 6 that they've got, which is not a commentator's pleasure.
There's St. Peter's meeting some strong defence from St. John's, as Quinn Snowden's been strong today with his tackling, and Luca Morrison, I think, was on the end of that one as he cleared the ball away into touch. Legal tackle, but heavy contact.
Some clouded over a bit. There's rain expected with showers, they said, but I reckon Cambridge could be in for a good sprinkle soon.
It's certainly quite dull here at the moment, but it doesn't look like there's any particularly dangerous rain clouds around, so it should stay dry, hopefully, for the remainder of this one. As Parnwell throws in, it's won by, I think, Harper Mills there in the line-out for St. John's. And they'll have another opportunity now, ball in hand. They're currently down 24 points to 12, St. Peter's Cambridge lead as Korahiki Feki at first receiver. Good fend and step there from Ollie Penfold. There's the 21s on the field as well for St. John's. That's Riley Eagles. And that's a good go behind ball. I think it's in the hands of Korahiki Feki. Great little no-look pass on the outside. Might be Parnwell, I think, on the left
I think
wing.
it was Parnwell.
A great little creation of space there from Korahiki Feki, exploding into contact, and now St. John's College with another tackling opportunity.
That was just as silly as the St. John's one at half time in the first half. Aaron Patterson might have been a good 10 metres away from that, but it happened right in front of him. The St. Paul's player going over and a big rake of the ball.
Yeah, it's just a bit tempting when the ball's sort of just looking at you on the side of the ruck like that.
He probably was.
Tempting.
Look, it's gamesmanship. If the referee doesn't see it, play on. But no, Zinni definitely in the right area.
He's in good position there.
Good position, yeah.
To see that.
If it happened on the other side of the ruck, it probably would have thought it as a good turnover.
So St John's College now. They've got a line-out throw about 17 metres out from the St Peter's Cambridge goal line. They will again want to come away with points to give them an opportunity to push this one into a close contest. And it's been knocked on in the line-out. There's the St Peter's faithful cheer from the sideline, supporting their school.
It's good to see. Like, I mean, I think basically it probably into the first half the crowd left because of end of school, but there's still quite a good gathering
against
around.
Their will, is that what you're implying, Ben?
Something like that. Hey, I've just had to realise this building behind us was opened in February 2002. I'll just make sure you can't see the plaque, by Sir Colin Meads.
Ah, wow. It's a very, it's normally like a Prime Minister or something, isn't it?
23rd of February.
Does he have a special relationship with the school, do you think, Bev?
I'm not sure. Do anyone? No, they're too busy talking.
There's a little bit of rain falling overhead now, as I was confident there wouldn't be any. A little bit of raindrops coming in.
With your last comment there, Cheese Dog, absolutely. It was too tempting, but as I said, Zinni was in the better position for it. And St John's with the penalty.
It's 2 penalties at scrum time now for St John's, and Ollie Penfold, good fend. He's got space on the eye. It's a great tackle coming across from
Nonu.
From Moray on Nonu, and that's a great piece of work from the centre for St Peter's. He's had a wonderful game today, Flynn Moray. What a covering tackle.
Well, my prediction, I don't think I said it, but I definitely thought about it, that the rain might be half an hour away. It's not. It hasn't gone out.
So not able to find touch this time. So St John's, it's a challenging pass. And didn't quite
Forward.
pick it up off the shoe, off the bootlaces there. It was Ollie Penfold, just couldn't quite pull that one in from his bootlaces. So St Peter's win a scrum, and that might be a 50-22.
No, Magic's got his. Oh no, he's got his flag up. But he's put. Yes, it is. Sorry, yes, it is.
Great use of space there and behind by Alapati Tusa Swangia. Nabbed himself a 50-22 there off the back of that scrum, and St Peter's now with a prime opportunity to maybe push this beyond the reach of St John's with
Quarter of an hour, 15 minutes.
Not long to go. 12:50. But the line-out's overthrown, and it's Harper Mills, was it? That's come away
No,
with
it's
it.
Brosnan. Sorry, I've sold you up.
You sold
for that
out the
one.
river there, Bev. As Brosnan comes away with it for St John's College. As they come up towards the 10-metre line in their half, the ball's come spewing out, and it's come out again. Who's going to come away with it? Referee Patterson says, play on!
Not sure how St John's ended up with that.
There was a few hands and things in there, but we're playing away, and St John's still in possession of the ball. Koraheki Feki throws the big ball out to Penfold. He's caught.
I think it was below the sternum. It didn't look it, but I think it was.
And we played away. He's Harper Mills now. Up over, nope, just beyond the halfway line, but he's heaved it backwards. And I think it might be the second 5 there, recovering. Tavanga possibly, or...
Well, St Peter's, the ball's out, so they've gone around and turned this over.
And now their opportunity. Deep inside St John's territory as Luca Morrison gets caught around the side. Might be an advantage being played in the hands of Flynn Murray now for St Peter's. On the 10-metre line, St John's half. It's strong contact there. But well recycled by St. Peter's. They'll come away to Luca Miller. Shuffles it on. Numbers out here now for St. Peter's if they can find space. It's in the hands of Murrah. He takes it up over the 22. Morrison now finds Strengths Rose. The defence has been pretty good from both sides here today. There's been some strong tackles as Meek takes it up now 15 metres out from the St. John's line as St. Peter's edge ever closer. It's time west. And it's been turned over by St. John's, and there's numbers out to the left if they can reach it, but they can't. Yes, they can. Still going. The defence has managed to have time to get across though. St. John's now coming back towards the right. Good contact there, Strengths Rose. His hands on the ball, but unable to turn it over. Harper Mills, Korahiki Feki. In the hands of Penfold now as the defence slides. And that's been booted out on the full by Penfold.
He had the right idea, that just the execution definitely on the wrong half of the boot there. And there was just a moment of gasping breath that maybe it might bounce slightly, but it didn't.
Yes, I'm sure he'd like to take that one again if he could. So, line out is taken. It's thrown in by the reserve hooker there, Zammit for St. Peter's. And they're going to go all the way out to the right-hand touchline in the hands of 21, Calcinite for St. Peter's. Defence is up to the task though for St. John's. And now it's Barnes into contact. There's a good clear out. Oh, it's just been left behind, but there's no advantage for the not rolling away for St. John's College. Penalties against.
Yeah, well, this is St. John's Hamilton's last game before term break. They've got a bye before they take on St. Paul's. If you were tuning in, as this kick has just stayed inside the corner post.
Wow, if there was a post on that corner, it would have
smacked it in the face.
Come in off,
I just realised what beanie you're wearing, mate. The Junior Rugby Festival, Global Games.
Yeah. It's a good warm beanie on these cold Hamilton days.
St. Peter's are away to Lindisfarne on this coming Wednesday, the 23rd, I believe it is.
Yeah, we're in Lindisfarne on the table at the moment, Bev. He's up there, are they?
Oh, why ask me when I put my phone away?
I just stitch you up.
You waited, eh?
I waited so I could stitch you up. So St. Peter's now hot on attack here. They got a line out throw, 5 metres out from St. John's goal line. There's a sack, and it's effective, says Aaron Patterson. And a knock on against St. Peter's.
Well, I've been unfair to Lindisfarne. I thought third, maybe fourth. St. Peter's are second on this table. Lindisfarne are first.
Oh, okay. So that'll be a top of the table clash on Wednesday then.
Yes. Lindisfarne, though, have played an extra game. St. Peter's had the bye just gone. The week round just gone.
And do you get points for a bye in this?
No, only get points for a bye if there's uneven amount of
teams, I see.
Teams have more byes than the others.
Oh, okay. Clear as mud. As a big push this time from St. Peter's. St. John's under pressure. And quite sure what's happening there, but might have been taken back into the end goal area, I think.
I think that's what he's signalling.
Or is it a try, in fact? Oh no, it's a line dropout, I'm guessing. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to be quiet.
No, it's a 5 metre stick with what you said the first time, Andrew.
I wasn't sure after the last
back.
one.
No, I didn't see the arm go up though, so.
Lost my confidence as I will go with my original theory. It's taken back into the end goal area and forced.
Yeah, so the only game St. John's Hamilton have left in this regular season is July the 26th. So after the school holidays, taking on St. Paul's at St. Paul's in Hamilton. Trying to play footsie.
So St. Peter's, good scrum ball, win for them. And couldn't quite hold on to it there as they were working away with a big move, and St. John's are going to run it out, but bundled into touch. So they'll come back for the scrum for the knock on.
Yeah, I think with that little sprinkle of rain we just had when everybody else buggered off undercover. Hey, it was smart. You're smart for doing so. Might have made that ball just a little bit greasy.
Just a little bit slippery.
These are Westlake boys here.
Westlake boys.
Westlake boys, always on top. Always on top. The Westlake boys.
So St John's College Hamilton
There's all sorts of stuff happening off to the side of me here, Andrew.
currently trailing 24 points to 12. And they will need some points fairly sharply. We're down into the single digit minutes left in this game.
Just a reminder, that's only the time we have, not the referee's official time.
And it's gone down on this side closest to us, so we'll have another reset.
Fourth or fifth, Andrew?
Scrum?
Yeah.
Oh, you're testing me now. We've had a few in the...
I reckon that's the first scrum reset.
Oh, reset? Yeah, that might be the first reset. We've had a few scrums now, though. We're up in over 5 now.
You reckon you're right?
We had 2 penalties for St John's at scrum time.
Only one of us is really stats heavy and likes to do stats but couldn't be bothered.
Right. I reckon we've had about six scrums, or 6 or 7 now. This one's, there's a lot of pushing going on early. And
Yeah, it's against the loose set again, and they've gone quickly, St John's.
it's the 3rd penalty against St Peter's at scrum time, so they'll need to work on that potentially ahead of the next game. As St John's running out from their own goal line pretty much, up over the 22 now, and they probably need points relatively quickly here. As St Peter's players getting over the ball there, making a nuisance of themselves, but still in the hands of St John's. Scrappy ball though, the back of this ruck, and there's a penalty now against inside entry there against St Peter's. So Penfold, he'll boot it down, not quite over the halfway line.
St John's 7th on the table at the moment, Andrew. But they'll take a lot of momentum coming into this. They're going to play De La Salle and Palmerston North boys, 5th and 12th, both in Hamilton, both live streamed as well. Of July, sorry. Not June, clearly.
After the school holidays,
No, in the school holidays.
Oh, in the school holidays, fair enough. There's a player over the ball there, but St Peter's managed to maintain possession in the hands of Miller. Swung out, and just a short pass there has been turned over to St John's as Penfold makes a strong carry up towards the 10 metre line. St Peter's half as Harper Mills, he only knows one way. It's towards the goal line. Now in the hands of Korihiki, no, in the hands of the 19. That is the Penny for St John's.
That was Ben Parnwell again on that left wing. He doesn't love a good hooker on the wing.
Yeah, it seems to be a mentality with hookers, isn't it? If they're not in the middle of the scrums or throwing lineouts, they're on the wings.
Breaking news out of Australia. They have announced their team. Don't know who's in the team, but I know who's not. James O'Connor.
He's off overseas, I think, after his Crusaders responsibilities.
Couple of years here at the Crusaders.
As the ball is a bit messy and...
I think eventually that's full time. I was thinking there's a very interesting looking kick, but in the end it's found touch. And we've had a brilliant game of rugby out here, Andrew.
Yeah, certainly have. And St Peter's Cambridge certainly showed their class here today. And certainly it was a very even contest in the first half, but 5 minutes towards the end, St Peter's really showed their class and pulled away with it.
All right, we got to get out of this rain, Andrew, because it's starting. Take care out there, folks. Look after each other. Please look after your mental health. Goalball Nationals New Zealand from the Chris Orr Recreation Centre, Blind and Low Vision New Zealand for the next 3 days. Please take care there on the roads, especially with a bit of rain and long weekend. Thanks very much, Andrew. Awesome work, Michael. Thank you so much. Hei kona. I can't find it. No, we'll just pick it up here if that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is mine, that one.
What goes where? Give me some direction.
Let's actually bundle up and go in there.
What's right?
Let's bundle it all up and just get in.